10 times 10, boy, do the math. 10 times 10, boy, do the math. Where we come and share and laugh. Where we come to share and laugh. Keep it real, boy, that's a fact. Keep it real, boy, that's a fact. 10 times 10, boy, do the math.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 10 times 10 podcast. I am your host, YK and Peatr, and today I have a special guest with me. Someone who's very creative, who I watch on Instagram daily.
That's facts.
One of the tallest native brothers.
No cap.
Peatr Thomas, what's going on, brother?
That's good, man.
Keep it 10 times 10.
I'm working on my intros, bro. Sorry.
It's all good.
So I have some questions for you, man. Can you kind of introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, sure. Basically, I come from the Pemichikamak Cree Nation, better known as Cross Lake. Is the reservation on the territory, so that makes me Swampy Cree.
Oh, no doubt, I never knew that.
So I grew up there most of my childhood. Moved to the city for high school, and kind of just like, I guess I went from there. Like, you know, I used to draw and stuff as a kid, moving to the city, seeing graffiti and stuff like that. It re-sparked my interest in art and whatnot. So it all pretty much started from there as far as like being an artist. What I only just recently started calling myself. But that was a long journey in itself. Like, you know, did high school, went into carpentry and construction for like 10 years. You know, turning 29 4 years ago, I'm like, you know, I kind of wanted to do a bit more gratifying work, right?
For sure, man.
So, it was just, I got into more art and doing like youth workshops, working with youth.
That's awesome, man. Like, cause as I started getting into workshops and stuff, and it's such a good feeling to help kids and teach kids, right? Because like when I was growing up, I never experienced like workshops and things like that, right? Like for you, did you ever experience that?
No,
like
it was the same thing. Like I never had someone that I kind of like looked up to, or someone that was kind of like inspiring, I guess, or people that are encouraging, right? Yeah,
for real. So. Yeah, and I feel like especially the kids in the reserves and stuff, they need that extra push, because some of them are so isolated, especially those reserves like really up north. Like, because I've been to Garden Hill, I've been to St. Teresa Point, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason why their suicide rates are so high and things like that, because they're so isolated and there's not much for them to do, right? So to go out there and give them workshops and teach them things, I think is a good feeling and a good thing to do, man.
That's facts.
So you grew up in Cross Lake, you said?
Yeah, I grew up in Cross Lake.
Can you kind of explain how far Cross Lake is from Winnipeg?
So it's 780 kilometers, but we'd say 8-hour drive.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like, I think Manitoba is one of the few places that measure places in time. You know? So it's like
that's how I do it too.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hour drive. Like, you're like, how many kilometers? Like when you explain it to somebody who's not from Manitoba.
Yeah, that's how I do it. Like, I'm like, man, if it's 100 kilometers, it's an hour. Some people do 100 kilometers in like fucking 40 minutes though, if you're really flying. Like those people who are used to driving on the reds and stuff and like going there and back constantly, they could do it pretty quick. But I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but like what age specifically did like painting intrigue you? Like, when did you start like experiencing that, doing things like that, painting?
Well, I always come back to graffiti art, and
Hold up.
you know, like everybody draws as a kid, right? My brother and my cousins are all doing indigenous art with like pencils. And that was cool to me, and I would try that, and then you kind of just grow out of it.
Sorry to cut you off, but was it graffiti art first? Like you were doing?
No, it was like a more indigenous style art, you know, with like spirit lines and you know the Ojibwe style kind of stuff. But moving to the city, seeing like tags and things like that, it intrigued me, because there was like 3 questions that I had when I seen these things. It was like, who did this? What does it mean? And why?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Back on my mom's reserve up the Blood Vein River, there's rock paintings, and I remember seeing those rock paintings as a kid. I'm like, and it was the same 3 questions like resonated in my mind, like who did this, like when, why, you know, what does it mean? You just didn't know, there was a lot of mystery behind it, right? So I kind of just started from there, just like drawing it in my notebook, or you know, as I started doing it on my grip tape, you know, I started skating
Yeah.
at that time too, and some friends of mine were like, "Oh, you should try it with like spray paint and stuff like
Oh,
that."
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, they were taggers
Yeah.
and stuff. And
So you had friends like who you hung around with that kind of pushed you to do your painting and stuff?
yeah, they were like, "Yeah, you should just do it." Like I always thought, like, you know, I was just like a res kid coming to the city. I didn't
Yeah.
understand anything, so I was like, I always thought like, you know, graffiti was kind of like gang stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, back in the maybe in the earlier days, like '90s and stuff, maybe it kind of was, but now it's kind of open, right? Like,
Yeah.
everybody does it.
So I was like, well, these guys, you know, they do it and they're encouraging me, so I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
Kind of just went from there.
Yeah, and even around Winnipeg, there's so much like sick graffiti pieces like downtown and all over. I always see something and I'll stop and just look at it like, man, I wish I was artistic like that, but I was never very artistic in the sense of drawing, right? I always wish I could have drawn, but yeah. So let's talk. Keep it on the Cross Lake. So recently you went there and you did a mural for Brady Keeper.
Yeah.
How did you feel doing that? Were you like honored that they reached out to you to do it, like to your home res and him just going to the NHL and things like that?
Yeah, no, it was super cool. Like when I first heard about it, and you know, like everybody, you know, on the reserve was all stoked about it, right?
Yeah.
And I just had that idea. I wanted to, you know, commemorate him
Yeah.
while he's at the, you know, at the peak of the excitement.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Rather than waiting until like somebody's gone.
Yeah.
Or you know they were like long past achieved something
Yeah.
and commemorate them. I just wanted to commemorate
Yeah.
that moment, right?
Yeah.
So I just reached out to the guy who kind of manages the arena.
The arena, yeah.
And he was all for it. And then
That's awesome, man.
you know, some of the band, you know, was able to pitch money towards that.
Yeah.
No
That's
cap.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy to think that someone from Cross Lake has made it to the NHL, right? Like, it's another thing that's really inspiring for kids to see that you could do anything you put your mind to, right? And like,
Yeah.
you don't have to allow these barriers that they try to put on native people, you know, that we can't do this or we can't do that because we're indigenous and things like that. So he's an inspiration to a lot of kids, man. What's your creative process like approaching a painting when you're doing a painting?
It really varies. Nowadays I use like I'm a graphic designer too, and I just never thought to design murals from you know, like Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah.
But that's how I've been doing my last few murals. Last
Damn,
handful,
really, eh?
yeah. I
That's
just, like,
crazy.
I'll design it in Illustrator, and
Yeah.
you know, it kind of works that way because I'll take a picture of the wall before I do it, and you know, I'll have it measured out, and I'll be able to scale it, and you know, make things fit and work, play with colors.
That's sick, man. I didn't know that, bro. I thought you just kind of just go there and you just kind of have the picture there and you just do it. That's crazy, man. Like,
Yeah, just really embracing, you know, technology and the knowledge of how to use everything.
Man, I wish I was I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to like programs and stuff. The only thing I know how to use is like Pro Tools and Instagram and social media stuff, right? But
That's all you need.
yeah, and Final Cut. I'm trying to learn to mess around with Final Cut because I want to start shooting my own videos and stuff like that, man.
Word,
But,
yeah, Final Cut's a good one to
yeah,
learn.
I know a lot of people use Adobe Premiere too, but
Yeah, I
I
use
mean,
Final Cut.
I got the crack version of Final Cut. It's like, man, I don't want to pay like $1,000
Yeah, that was me.
for a program. yeah. But man, you working it all the time, so man, you know, it's like it's investment, right?
Yeah.
So just this past summer, you did something very honorable and something not a lot of people can do. You drove on your bike all the way back to Cross Lake from Winnipeg, 700 kilometers, well, 800 kilometers pretty much. How is that, man?
It was 780.
Yeah.
It was a lot of preparation, a lot of training. I knew it was gonna be tough if I didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
Prepare
sure.
for it, you know. Like 10 years carpentry, like I know I can work like 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 hour days, right?
Yeah.
And this is like hard work labor, whether it's like concrete or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You just can't stop sometimes.
For sure, man.
So I knew I could do it then. As far as like being able to be physical for that long. I know what it's like to have to like concentrate and and just focus on, you know, your energy and replenishing that energy. But the trip itself, like I think because I was ready for it and because I didn't push myself and I took breaks. And I was, you know, replenishing everything in my body from like, you know,
man, you
like
have
salt
to.
levels, like
For sure.
you know, electrolytes, everything, right? And there was a lot of figuring out to do, but you know, those first 3 days, I don't want to say they were easy, but I wasn't really like kind of like, man, this is tough.
No cap.
The only thing I was worried about on the trip was like just technical things, you know, like something happens with the bike, or I crash, you know, or I get hit or something.
That's fucking, that'd be fucked.
Because there's no shoulders on the highway once you get up there, right?
Yeah.
And also like you get up to Grand Rapids, after that there's no gas stations, no cell phone service.
That's probably rough.
Just nothing, right? But honestly, that was like the best point. You know, because it was literally just me and the road. And it was just like super peaceful.
It's almost like therapy, right?
100%. Yeah,
sure.
It was my own, in a sense, I guess you could say, ceremony.
Oh, that's dope.
Which was a part of it. But that last day was really tough. I didn't sleep well that night before.
So would you just pull over and just put up a tent somewhere?
Yeah, I had a tent. Yeah, so I had predestined locations where I was gonna.
Where were
stay.
they? Can you?
The first one was near Penang. There's a little campground there.
Okay, I know that place by Steep Rock, right?
Yeah, some homies met me there.
Yeah. Okay.
The second night was Grand Rapids. Yep, and then third night was Ponton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had a little tent.
So it was like a 4-day, pretty much.
Yeah, it was 4 days.
4-day trip. Yeah.
The last day there, it was like 3 hours rain in the morning. You know, the previous 3 days the wind wasn't even that bad. If anything, it was pushing me.
It's almost like they were testing you the last day.
Maybe,
right?
yeah, and it was like, you know, 3 hours rain, which wasn't that bad. You just like gear up for it.
Yeah.
And then it was followed by like crazy wind, like 40, 50, 60 kilometer wind blowing against me.
I was just going to say, it's not too bad if it's going with you, right? But against you, man. Even me just biking in the city when it's like wind against me, I'm like, holy man. But to be on the open highway, nothing is crazy.
If you have like a 30 kilometer wind and you're going 20 kilometers an hour, which is like average for an average person, it's 50 kilometer winds that you're pushing, right?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so there was that, and you know, there was a lot of lack of water. The creeks that were kind of there where I was gonna get water just didn't look very pleasing. I had like
brown water.
I had like a water filter, and I didn't want to get water like right off the highway unless I really had to.
Which ones are they? Like those little ones? Like I seen one before that's like.
Yeah,
I think I seen Rob Deerdeck use it in the toilet in one of his episodes on Fantasy Factory.
No, I don't even remember the brand, but that was another thing too. Was just looking up all the gear and like reviews and videos. Yeah. The one I had was like, it kind of looks like a mug, and then there's like a pump on the side.
Okay, yeah.
Works really well.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah.
So were you recording the trip? Because I think I've seen some videos on your Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. I documented trip as best I can. You know, like I had my GoPro and my cell phone camera and a drone.
Do you have plans for that footage or something you're gonna do with it?
I went back up to my reserve. I was gonna get some like B-roll shots that I kind of missed. But yeah, there's about I think it's like 150 gigs of footage.
Yeah.
You know, tons of it.
Oh, for sure. Just make a very inspiring video with that.
Yeah. So I'm sort of like been thinking about like the direction I want to go with it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something I'm going to be working on come winter.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah.
And the thing I like too is like at the end of your trip when you got there, there's people there waiting for you.
Yeah, that
must have felt good.
Yeah, it really did. It was really unexpected.
Yeah.
Like I was just expecting to just like get there and just arrive to my cousin's house and just relax. Right?
They had the tape and everything for you to cross.
Yeah, yeah. So they all met me at the bridge.
Yeah.
This bridge is kind of iconic in itself. It used to be a ferry,
Oh,
but
okay.
it used to be like a meeting point for I guess people back in the day. You know, they'd meet people there with like canoes and stuff to kind of let them
that's
into
sick.
the territory.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So it was a lot of family, a lot of community members met
That's
me there.
good. A lot of love, eh?
Yeah, the chief and like some council were there. And
Yeah.
it was amazing.
And the part that I liked about it mostly is because I watch your Instagram, right? I liked how when you got there was RCMP there, and you're like, no, you guys get to the back. You guys are not fucking leading me into the.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I love that, man. Like,
yeah.
Fuck the RCMP.
Yeah,
Seriously.
straight up. Yeah, they just like kind of pushed their way in there. Like, all right, we'll lead the group,
It's
and
like,
I'm
no.
like,
Yeah, fuck
you know.
that.
So I try to go in front of them, but then they like pulled up even more in front of
Yeah.
me. And then there's the like the kind of reserve security
Yeah.
or a peace officer or whatever. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, can you like tell the RCMP to like not go in front? Like, I want you to lead.
Yeah,
And he's
for
like,
sure.
all right. So he pulled up and he goes and talked. He was on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them, and I kind of just like sped up, and I go to pass the RCMP, and they just did not look happy.
That's the best, man.
Yeah.
Real fuck you to them, man. That's awesome, man. Very inspiring shit.
A few moments later.
All right, kind of moving on. I hate that I have to look at my phone, man. I wish a piece of paper would look more professional, you know? We'll get better with time, people. Don't judge me.
No judgment.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So another question I wanted to ask you, like, was...
Keep it 10 times 10, baby. It's your boy YK.
So if you could think back to all the murals and pieces you've done in your time, could you do like a top 5, which are like your favorite pieces?
That's a tough.
That's
one.
a tough one.
I never thought about that.
No? Or even if you can't think of top 5, just a couple that are like the ones you're really very, very proud of and hold very dear to you.
Hold up.
Definitely the last two I did.
Yeah.
You know, there was a basketball court there. Mm-hmm. That one was really fun to do.
Yeah, could you kind of explain more to the people, like where it was?
Yeah, so this is in St. Boniface
Yeah.
at Provence, and there's Murals right by TCM, Trickster, Moral.
Yeah.
I have to practice that.
I would have fucking messed that up.
Yeah, it's right in the parking lot there. It was originally supposed to go in the north side of the city.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah, and
Oh, I
it was
didn't know that.
gonna be like twice the size because it's like 2 courts.
Yeah, that's a crazy piece, man. Like when I looked at the picture, the aerial like picture of it, it's like, man, that's fucking.
Yeah, it was. Like I can't take all of the credit. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I designed it, but I had an awesome team there
Yeah.
working with, and
Yeah.
they were great with direction and just really killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that one, and then the one I did year before for Synonyms Wall to Wall. There's a black and white one with like red lines. That one's another favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that at? Sorry.
This one is on Bunzies.
Bunzies.
Yeah. It's like Higgins and I think Austin Street.
Okay. Is that place on that place right on the corner where
Thunderbird House, right
yeah.
behind Thunderbird House.
Oh
yeah.
wow, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, that one. That one's
that's
mine.
crazy.
That's another favorite.
I didn't know that. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
So that's 2. Can you think of 3 more, you think?
I painted this garage in the North End on Redwood. I don't remember the cross street, but I was renting this house, still a tiny ass house, like
Yeah.
about the size of this room. Like, I kid you not.
Yeah.
It was tiny, and people like, I thought that was the garage for the next house. Like, no, I live in there. Like, are you fitting there? I'm like, shit. Like,
No shit.
yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Because you're what? You're 6'4",
6'4",
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're tall, man.
But yeah, the rent was like $750 a month for a house, right?
No, that's awesome.
So
bro.
I wasn't mad about that.
Yeah, that's a win.
But anyway, I painted the garage there, and that garage that I painted was the first time that I painted something with spray paint that wasn't graffiti art looking, right?
Yeah.
So I
it
did
was like a traditional.
Yeah, it was like a sunset with like an eagle and it's
Yeah.
like breaking off into like kind of space kind of looking.
Oh, that's.
I was
sick.
really happy with it, and,
Yeah.
and it's still there. And this was 2015. Yeah, kind of like the point where I was like deciding to do the full-time artist thing.
Yeah. So was there something you were doing full time like before art? Did you like? You kind of
Yeah.
gave that up and just pursued art 100%.
Yeah. So the last 2-3 years of my like carpentry construction career, I was I did some contracting myself.
Yeah.
And I was a foreman for this one company.
Okay.
Kind of like leading a crew on like $1 million jobs. Like,
Oh wow.
just hiring and firing people. You know, don't hire your friends. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
that's your friends are always the ones that fuck you, man. I don't, it's crazy.
Yeah, so
Sucks.
there was that, and before that it was kind of just like another worker, right?
Yeah,
Which is totally fine with being.
Yeah.
And sometimes I kind of miss that because it's like, you know, I go to do my job, finish it, maybe not finish it, maybe the next day you come home, you relax, you don't have to worry about anything else, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And now it's like, you know, it's a constant hustle, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when my next job's gonna be. I don't know when my next check's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, it was a real struggle the first few years as an artist, but now it's kind of like I can plan things like months in advance.
Yeah. See, that's good. You always got to put in that work, right? To where you're good and just have that mentality that everything's going to pay off. Like to quit your job and just pursue your passion, right? That's fucking awesome.
It was a jump for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was used to making like $250, like $280 a day. You know,
Wow,
I knew
yeah.
at the end of the day that I had that money in the
Yeah,
bank.
for sure.
You know,
man. Yeah.
And now it's like the first like 2.5 years were like a real struggle.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't know when I was gonna eat again or whatever. You know, $1 pizza fucking
For
saved
sure,
me.
man. For real. They find pizza at them 99-cent spots, man.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me, man. Like when I got out of jail and I like gave up all the bullshit, right? It was like, oh man, it was so stressful, man, and just it's a struggle, man, right? And then I just kept pushing, and the opportunity finally came for me to work with you. So that's kind of what I do now. And like music doesn't really pay the bills. Like I make a little bit of money off of it, but like,
No cap.
yeah, man, to take that leap is like it takes a lot, man. You just gotta believe in yourself, pretty much, right?
Yeah, it's really like, you know, it really comes down to like, why are you doing it? Like it's if it's a place, you know, from love,
Yeah.
you're gonna succeed.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure, man.
If you're doing it, you know, like for the love, I guess, for like people to love you, like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It has to be like a genuine passion,
yeah.
right? And that's how it was for me. Like I don't have like a set art style or anything like that. You know, I kind of have like ADD, and I get bored of doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
I'm always like changing things up.
Yeah.
And people, I guess, are kind of seeing that.
Yeah.
And they're kind of seeing that I have this like versatile
For sure.
style.
Yeah. Very versatile, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, like even like me just watching you on fucking Instagram and your social media, like you just seem like a crazy, like creative and handy guy, you know. Like I'll always comment on some of the things you're like working on, you know, just in the shop and shit. I'm like, bro, how do you do that, man? You know, it's crazy, man. That's awesome. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about, you know, what's going on kind of in like Nova Scotia and all the bullshit out there. I don't know too much about it. I just know that there's a lot of fucking racism going on out there, and Canada's like showing its true colors like it always does. But I know I want to kind of see like what's your take on the situation like out there, like.
Yeah. So as much as like, you know, we hate social media.
Yeah.
It's in our lives no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
You
And
know?
it's here to stay.
Yeah, 100%. And everything that's happening out there happens a lot of places.
Yeah.
And I know like that situation has been happening there for a good number of years, if not since, you know,
Since the beginning.
since
time.
the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just now that, you know, social media is here and there's a real like force, you know, as far as like land protectors and, you know, defenders protest behind social media.
That's my cats, man. My bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
They're crazy.
They don't gotta worry about nothing. It's just all coming to light.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there who are not indigenous
Yeah.
or they're not like black, indigenous, or people of color.
Yeah.
They don't see, you know, the racism. They might hear or
Yeah.
see like maybe their peers
Yeah.
might make a comment or two, but a lot of it is like they don't know that, you know, they're maybe in the wrong themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's
man.
no one there. There was no one there to tell them.
For sure.
You know, there's friends of mine who are non-Indigenous, and you know, I'd be at places with them.
Yeah.
And you know, something will happen where it's like discrimination and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait until like later, and I'm like, "Did you notice like this and that?" And I'm like, "No," but
And
no,
they-
you think about it, like shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah. And like even like just me, like growing up, like I'm dark skinned, but I'm part native, right? And just even just being with certain people, around certain people, I've had people make like even just stupid comments, not knowing I'm native and things like that, and I'd have to like put people in their place, and they'd kind of be like, "Oh, I didn't know," right? Just like so many people try to say they're not racist, but they say like little sly things, right? And just I feel like that's just Canada, man. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, so like, you know, I don't have like total loss of hope. You know, I had the thought today earlier. I'm like, is like racism here to stay forever? And maybe, but you know, like there's people like they're in their 30s and up, like, you know, boomers, and especially,
Yeah.
you know, they're grown up,
Yeah.
racist parents and racist mentality.
Yeah.
But you know, there's youth and kids now, like, you know, 6-7 years old, they use the word Indigenous. You know, they don't say, "Are you Indian? Are you Native American? Aboriginal?"
For sure. Yeah. and I said this kind of last episode of my podcast. Like I still sometimes catch myself like saying Aboriginal, right? But it's like
Yeah, so like you know, and these kids also know about residential schools.
Yeah.
You know, Orange Shirt Day. So there's this whole new generation coming up who are aware, and they know, they have the world of information at their fingertips.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, these
Yeah.
kids are gonna grow up with a wealth of knowledge that we couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
Right? We just
for real.
got iPhones like you know 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I'd say 5 when it's like, you know, it was kind of like everyone had to have one.
Yeah.
You know, just to live a basic life. But these kids are growing up with it in their hands, in their faces. You know, a lot of people kind of might see it as a bad thing, and maybe in some cases it is. But you know, people are resilient. They'll know what's right from wrong.
Yeah,
and,
for
you know,
sure. For sure. Just naturally, right?
Yeah.
Like even I have kids, and I just like my daughter's 10 years old. She has a phone. She has an iPhone. My son just turned 7, and he's asking me for an iPhone, right? But I'm like, I don't think not yet, right? But like, man, they love phones. They love the technology. It's here to stay, like for real.
Yeah.
And was it this summer, the Black Lives Matter protest?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were doing a lot for that, man. Like, hats off to you, brother, man. You were like doing shirts for people, man. You were like standing up, man. Like, have you always been like a person who's like, I don't want to say stand up for injustices, but always been like kind of that person?
Yeah, I believe so. Like, I know I've always wanted to try to help people.
Yeah.
You know, help them in a sense of maybe like they require help, or it's like, you know, to maybe help their lives a bit better, right?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
So it's like growing up, you know, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life and career. You know, they put that pressure on you in high school. Like, you gotta know by the time you're 18 what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Which is not realistic.
Just
right?
bullshit.
Yeah. Like the whole school system is bullshit.
It's
man.
fucked.
Yeah.
The school doesn't teach you that failure is the best teacher.
No,
you know, they make you
and
afraid
that's
of
so
failure.
True. Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
bad.
so true, man.
So, yeah, so like, I'm like, they don't know what to do, what to do, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll like just become a nurse, registered nurse. You know, it's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
You know, I took like biology in high school.
Oh, really?
You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
I like just barely passed high
Yeah.
school, man.
Oh man, I had to get my GED, man. I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah, but like you know, like graphic and woods and biology are classes that I actually like did okay at.
The shops were always the fun thing in school, you know, like all the math and things like that. I hated it.
Yeah, so I know I always wanted to kind of help people and, you know, be a part of community and things like that.
Yeah.
So like when this rally came up, I'm like, how how can I
you help?
assist, like, you know, our brothers and sisters, black brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You know, I have a nephew who is also, you know, he's half Jamaican, half Cree.
Oh shit, that's
You know,
like me.
Yeah,
Half
so
Jamaican,
like,
half Ojibwe.
Say what?
I wish he was around. Like, not that he's like gone, but like he moved away.
Oh, okay.
You know, he would have been stoked to know you. I didn't know you personally at the time when I was his caregiver.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was his foster parent for a bit.
Oh, no doubt.
Doing respite and things like that.
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
But yeah, he moved away. But yeah, I know I just kind of always wanted to help, and with that, yeah, just like painted shirts for people, and I had a donation bin.
Yeah.
You know, and sent that to Justice for Black Lives.
Yeah.
You know, here in Winnipeg.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I was watching, seeing all the stuff you're doing, man. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, that, and like the rally itself, like I was talking about it yesterday with someone that had my ballistics goggles, and they're like, "What are those for?" I'm like, "Shit." I'm like, I took those with me to the rally because
Yeah.
I didn't know if like shit was gonna go south, right?
That's what I was kind of. I had my kids. I was gonna take my kids, and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna go south, but it was like an amazing rally, right? It was just 100% peaceful.
So like I took them because I didn't want to be the guy to kind of like start shit or cause a ruckus, right?
Yeah.
I took them because I know that some of these weapons that they use are lethal, like rubber bullets, for example. They're trained to bounce them off the ground, but they shoot them directly at people's like heads, right?
Oh wow.
So it's like, you know, and if I seen somebody who was like on the ground as they're hurt and there's tear gas or somebody's like getting trampled, like I want to be able to go and help these people. I have to be geared up to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I had that, and that day, I called my nephew. He was 7 at the time. And I told him, like, you know, there's this rally going on because, you know, people are kind of like unfair to black people since like, you know, the dawn of like colonization.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had to explain all of that, and you know, George Floyd, and I mentioned all of that, and and he already knew.
Oh really?
He knew. He's like, I know, I saw
awesome.
it on the news, and
that's awesome.
You know, he's like, I saw it on YouTube, and I seen what's happening, and I was like, so I called him because, you know, I'm putting myself in this line of danger, right?
Yeah.
And there's possibility for accidents.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's kind of just, you know, I just wanted to give him that call, let him know what happened.
Yeah.
And why I'm going into it. So.
Yeah. And that's awesome that you like, you think like that and you did that, because not a lot of people would take that situation and be like, oh, I'm not gonna do it, man. You know, if I'm gonna put myself at risk, I'm not gonna do it, right? So for you to like go down there and knowing that something could potentially happen, and you still went, man, that's crazy, bro. Hats off to you, man. You're a hero, brother. Not all heroes wear capes, man.
Some of us wear Friday nights.
There you go. Shout outs Friday nights. Shout outs Eric, man. Okay, I'm just gonna take a break. We will be right back.
A few moments later.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I know every video I'm always like going away and coming back. It's technical difficulties with my camera. I promise you guys I will get a new one and I will handle this problem.
No cap.
So yeah, going forward from such not so heavy stuff, let's kind of talk about some music. On here I like to talk to everybody about music. I don't really want it to be a music podcast, but I want it to just be a podcast where we could talk about anything, right? But I'm a musician, so I kind of want to know about some music. Let's see. I want to know who your top 5 favorite local artists are. You don't have to say me because I'm sitting here, man. You know?
Okay, good. I'm just kidding. You know what? Growing up, like, I moved to the city and whatnot, and you know what? Like, we're near the same age, like, you know, grew up with like Tupac and Biggie when they were still around.
All the legends,
all the legends, they were still around. Like, I remember their deaths and things like that. You know, and with my older siblings, they would always play it. You know, I kind of grew up in that same time and era. But like, I guess like high school and even after high school is like early 2000s. You know, and I was getting more into listening to underground stuff. You know, and then I never really got into like what local musicians or artists, rappers were kind of pushing the message. This was a time in my life where I was like, I kind of wanted to try to do a bit better, and I kind of stopped listening to music that were kind of glorifying like money, drugs, and things.
You wanted something that had substance, something that's saying something, right?
And they're as far as like local, like from what I remember, it was still in that kind of gangster rap era. There's nothing wrong with that, and it just wasn't my jam at the time.
For sure.
It wasn't really until maybe like the past like 5 years when I started like going back and listening and like new messages and things like that. And just like rappers kind of just switching up like what they rap about.
For sure.
But nowadays Three Peat's definitely up there. I know they're not really a trio anymore, but their music.
Oh, I didn't know that. Honestly.
Well, I mean, like they are, but
I've noticed they haven't really been doing anything together.
They're not really doing shows and things, but maybe because of COVID. But and Feta for sure. And
3P Feta.
Yeah.
All the fourth quarter, right?
Fourth quarter. There's Ed Riley.
I met him for the first time. I just said what's up to him when I went to make shit there, and I seen him. He came rolling in.
I used to know him when he was just like a little skater kid, right?
Oh, okay,
he was a skater kid from Thompson. Then I saw his YouTube channel like years ago, and he made a couple songs. I'm like, this guy actually sounds good, right? And
he's on that feta hook there. He sounds pretty good on that.
I introduced him to like the 3P dudes, Steve and Fed and those guys. And
shout out to all those guys, man.
I like showed them his music. I'm like, check this Thompson dude out, and I'm not just trying to take credit, but like, I was a fan of his music before people really knew he was. And I'm not saying because you're here, but like your new stuff, I really like it. It's really good. It's good messages.
Trying to say something now, trying to kind of talk to the youth and kind of show them that that lifestyle I used to live and what I was doing as a young kid is not like the way to go, right? All these kids think it's so cool to be this gangster and go to jail and you get out and you get street cred, when in all reality, like, you're gonna regret all that stuff you do when you grow up and you get to a point in your life where it's like, I fucked up, right? So nowadays I'm just really trying to say something, and I see that with a lot of artists. And
No cap.
I'm thankful for that too, like that there's these change ups in music.
For sure.
So I'm definitely more of a fan of like underground local stuff now than ever. It's hard to catch me listening to like what's new and like top charts and
all the mumble rap and all the crazy auto-tune and stuff.
I mean,
right?
like I'll still like hear it and like maybe I'll put it on, but I won't be like replaying it.
Some stuff is hard, you gotta play it once in a blue moon, but everybody's using auto-tune right now, man, so it's like
it should be on auto-tune right now.
Man, hold on, let me slap it on. Okay, so we said top 5 locals. You did 3P, Feta, Ed Riley, right?
Ed Riley,
YK the Mayor, and we got one more.
One more. I would say Egg, but I'd say Egg is in there.
He's 3P, He's dope, man. He's man. That boy could spit, man. That boy could spit.
Say what?
I feel like all the 3P guys, they could spit, man. Like Dill, I'm a fan of Dill. Like I really dig Dill shit.
Dill, I've known Dill since he was a little skater kid too. Like 12-year-old classic kid, right?
And I used to try skate too as a kid, but I couldn't do it.
It's tough, man.
That's when we go back to failure. I try to skate, failed. I try to do creative things, failed. Like carpentry stuff, failed. So
local, that's
fifth. So who's your number
local.
5?
That's a tough one, man. I'd really hate to like leave anybody.
That's what I mean. That's what's hard, right? When you do lists and things like that, it's like you forget. Like it's hard when you're on the spot.
But definitely like what all the people I just mentioned, like I genuinely do like listen to them and fan of their music and I look forward to it.
for sure.
Yeah.
So let's we said top 5 local, so I want to know who would be your top 5 favorite artists of all time. Not necessarily hip hop, not any genre, just your top 5 favorite all time artists.
Definitely
I'm curious.
The Clandestinos.
I don't even know who that is, bro.
Yeah. So if you're like heading to the north end and you go under the main street bridge at Higgins and you come up, and just to the left there's a mural of like a woman sewing a heart that's like ripped.
Okay.
It's like an indigenous woman with a hat, and she's like sewing this heart. His heart is like torn, and it's like
That's powerful.
it's like thread with like medicine wheel colors. They did that one. It's this Chilean couple. The girl is actually from here, Shalakatak, and she was from here, but she grew up in Toronto. And you know, the guy's Bruno Smokey. Anyway, they're a couple, a married couple, and they just travel the world doing these murals. All of their murals always have like a super awesome like story, like from the history of the land that they're from. Yeah. Not what they're from, but where they're painting.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're definitely up there.
Sick.
Top 5. You know, I'm gonna go back to some local dudes. It kind of inspired me. Still inspire me. There's Fred Thomas, Dobb. He's kind of one of like the OG writers for Winnipeg.
Oh, okay.
To really like take it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And Pat Lazo, he's up there too. He's one of the OG writers.
Okay.
You know, graffiti writers. Mike Johnson, he writes Lust.
Okay.
You know, he's still out there doing it. He's out in BC right now.
Oh, no doubt,
But yeah, like those 3 guys. As far as like when I first started painting, they were kind of like I guess you could say top dogs. You know, as far as like what they can paint.
Yeah, the big dogs in the city.
Yeah, and then there's another local dude. He writes Cracker.
Cracker?
Yeah.
That's his tag? Cracker?
That's his tag, yeah.
Is he a white guy?
He is, yeah. Yeah.
But he's fired, all right?
Oh, yeah, he's like... He's like insane, like, you know. I'm sure if he kind of wanted to step away from doing if he wanted to like step into like the legal world or come out as like an artist, right? Yeah. He would definitely kill it.
Oh wow.
His stuff's just so clean. Wow. But he's like still out there and still like in the streets.
He's still tagging around.
See some new stuff.
That's awesome,
he's still killing it. Yeah. And he's been at it for at least as long as I started. Yeah. Started writing graffiti, and this is like 2000, 2001, right? Ooh, he's still out there killing
talking
it.
Almost 20 years, right?
Yeah. So
grinding, dog.
Is that 5? I don't know if that's 5.
I think that was 4.
Yeah, there's 4. Yeah, right. I'm thinking Clandestinos because there's 2.
Yeah, because there's 2 of them.
Yeah. Another local artist. Let's see who's out there right now. I'm gonna try to pick someone from Winnipeg. 555.
I seen this one artist on Instagram who makes a lot of paintings of like RCMP. Like he made a painting of like RCMP giving like this native a blowjob wearing a headdress.
Oh, Kent Monkman.
Yeah. His shit is crazy.
Yeah. Kent Monkman.
Yeah, man.
You know what? I'll put him as my number 5.
Yeah,
I'll put him as
he's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, that's I just seen him just the other day. I was like, oh, these are like pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely pushes.
Yeah, he's from Winnipeg too, right?
Yeah.
I know he had it just clicked to me. He had like a exhibit or something at the Winnipeg Art Gallery one time. I meant to go, but I missed it, man. Yeah. I checked out his Instagram, man. He's got some crazy, powerful pictures on there, man, that he paints. Yeah. So, those are your top 5 favorite artists. That's of all time.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah,
I guess just all time. Yeah.
10, baby.
So, if you could think of 5 favorite music artists of all time, who would be your top 5? Something tells me your style is very like versatile. Man, you listen to everything.
It's all over the place.
That's awesome.
There's this guy goes by Rodriguez, and A friend of mine first showed me his music. This is like 2014, and I heard the first song, right from the very first like few notes. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
I listened to that album like right through.
Yeah.
And then I just like played it over and over, and that was like a tough time in my life too.
Yeah.
You know, I was like laid off work, and it was a real transitionary period from being like, you know, this construction worker to artist. But I'm also going through this like breakup, and there's all this like self-reflecting, and this music, this album was just like exactly what I needed.
Yeah. And music is always the best for that, eh? Like when you're going through something, man, music is like therapy in itself. Just listening to music.
It's just straight up just magic, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
So the album is called Cold Fact.
Cold Fact?
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. What genre is that?
He's like folk
music.
He's from the 70s.
Okay, sick, sick.
Then they put a documentary out on Netflix, or no, was it Netflix? No, it wasn't even on Netflix at the time. There's a documentary about him. Pretty wild stuff. Just the guy who just kind of made music. It flopped. Yeah. Somebody made a bootleg copy of his stuff in South Africa, and it just like sold millions of copies there.
What? That's crazy.
And then somebody
wild.
somebody like, you know, in 2000, like the early 2000s, tracked him down in Detroit. He's like this like super old. He's like maybe like 50, doing like demolition. Had no idea he was selling millions of albums.
What? Does he not get into money?
It was all bootleg stuff.
Bootleg
Nobody
shit.
knew who he is.
Wow.
You try to look up Rodriguez. It's like one of the most common like Mexican names.
Yeah.
And that's all it had, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know, they found him and they flew him back to like to South Africa, and he just had like millions of fans, sold out concerts for like years, and
what? That's
insane.
so crazy.
He took his family there. He was like they were met with like a limo and just all the 5-star treatment.
Yo,
right?
that's a crazy story, man. Holy shit.
So and then they just re-released the albums, you know, in North America, and it's just like a really classic sounding, you know, piece of treasure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely up there, you know, because it's not just because of his music, but also like learning of his character.
Yeah, yeah. His story.
Yeah, his story. Yeah, he actually did a Canadian tour, came through Winnipeg, and I'm like,
oh really?
I was like right in front.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's it's awesome when you get to see, like, you know, some of your favorite artists, man. That's awesome, bro.
So it was literally just him and his guitar. He was doing acoustic. He did really well. He
that's sick.
He was like interactive with the crowd.
Yeah, that's the best, is when the artists interact and they make you feel like you're part of the show.
Yeah.
Man. That's what separates good performers from not so much good performers, right?
Yeah, he was over at the concert hall.
Oh, nice. So big venue too, right? Was it like sold out? Like pretty packed?
It was
that's
pretty
crazy.
sold out, yeah.
What year was this?
This was probably like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so like he's up there for sure.
Rodriguez, number one. Yeah.
Who else do I listen to a lot going back? There was this old Finnish band from Finland. They were called Him. And him, you know, like the band Margera, like heartogram, like star heart logo.
Yeah.
That's the band. He was like a big fan of them.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know, I came across them like I was like, you know, a young skater kid.
Yeah.
You know, Bam Margera was like the cool thing back then.
Bam, you know? Was the man.
Yeah, now it's kind of like a laughing joke, but he had that. He was a big fan of that band, and that's what drew me into that. And they were really cool too because they experimented with a lot of sounds.
Oh, okay.
They were really experimental. It's a heavy metal band.
Okay.
They're not like super like they're not like emo, but their lyrics are kind of dark. Yeah.
So is it like heavy metal and like the crazy yelling kind of?
No, not at all.
Okay, see, that's good.
The lead singer actually has a really good voice.
Sings like an angel.
He sings like an angel. Yeah, he made me cry.
Yeah, brought a tear to my eye.
For
with
a moment,
voice,
I was like lifted off. Felt like I was floating.
This man has superpowers.
Yeah, so they're definitely up there. You know, yeah, they broke up. The band broke up years ago.
All the great bands, they always break up, man.
But they stuck together for like 25 years.
Okay, that's solid. Then
yeah. They did a good run. And they put out tons of albums, and I was there to catch, like, you know, I didn't catch the first one, but like after that I caught everyone. It was an exciting time. There's people I meet now who are like just becoming fans of them. Like, oh, you're like,
it's like, bro, you're late.
You're late.
Dog,
yeah,
you're hella late.
It was super exciting when they would have a new album. There'd be like every couple years, like, shit.
Did you ever get a chance to see them perform?
No, they never. They did some Canadian shows like Toronto and like Vancouver.
They're just the big cities, eh?
That
Like,
was
they
it.
never-
Yeah. But,
That's what sucks too, man.
No, I didn't catch them. So there's them two. I'm trying to think back to like stuff I heard as a kid.
Yeah.
Like my sister was like the hip hop head. My brother was like the metal head.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, it was like 90s
worlds,
metal and
Best
like
of both
90s hip
worlds.
hop. Like it was like
Yeah.
the best as far as like
Yeah.
setting
Yeah.
the standard.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's always like an older sibling or older relative that gets you into what you get into, I find. Like for
Yeah.
me, it was my two older cousins were into rap like crazy, so I went to rap.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think back then. I'll go back to another band called Sepultura or Sepultura. Some people pronounce it differently, but they're from originally from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
They're a metal band, and
awesome.
their first like few albums, they really integrated like the indigenous sounds and instruments and in vocals into their metal music.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
And their songs were about like colonization and like injustice and
Oh, that's crazy.
this is like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And another one would be this they're not a rap group anymore, but they were called Elvu. EL space VUH.
Okay.
And they're an indigenous rap group. There's 3 of them.
Oh, awesome.
They're based out of California, but they're from Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And same thing, way ahead of their time, like late 90s, early millennium, they were rapping about like, colonization and justice, but also like touching on spirituality, and they would have like bars in there about like some ceremonies and things like that, so like you wouldn't know what they're rapping about unless you like experience.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And then they would rap in Spanish and kind of switch back.
Flip it.
There's one song where it's like every line in the song, the first letter spells out a sentence. Like they were just like,
See, that's crazy.
they were just like really into it, and
Yeah.
I don't know why they never like blew up or anything. Like they were just really ahead of their time. And
Yeah.
it's like, again, there's people listening to it now and they're like, man, these guys, like, what are these guys doing now? Because the stuff they're rapping about back then is really relevant
it's
now.
relevant right now. Yeah. That's what I feel like. A lot of like the older like bands and stuff too, right? Or like what they're saying is like it's like happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 4, right?
That's 4. Yeah.
One more.
One more.
Say what?
I feel bad because I don't know any of these people you just said.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna research. I'm gonna do my research.
Yes. And that's the thing too. Like, like LimeWire and stuff. Sometimes you don't know what you're downloading.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, these kids don't know about that LimeWire Napster life. You know.
Yeah. I would just look up like underground rap, LimeWire, and just download whatever was
These kids
there.
don't know the struggle of just waiting for that thing to download 100%, you know? To
You hit
listen to
download
it.
in the morning, you come back after school, and you hope that it's done.
Yeah, it's like, man, I need to listen to that. It's so crazy, man. I think about LimeWire and that type of shit, man.
Yeah, hope it's not just a virus or something.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, I hope this doesn't kill my computer, but I gotta get this song, man.
Yeah. Okay, fifth one. Let's see, let me think here. There's somebody I can really listen to. Neil Young.
Neil Young, Winnipeg boy,
Yeah.
or man, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Neil, eh?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of him earlier,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely Neil Young.
Yeah.
Before I even knew he like had some roots in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
I just always loved his music.
Heart of gold.
Yeah, was just always good, and him too. He's really experimental with sounds and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, brother. So we're coming up on about almost an hour. So I want to ask you a question. If you could explain your life today, or like your core values in your life in 3 words, what would they be? Like, I'll give you an example. Mine would be family, healing, and creativity. What would your 3 words be to explain your life and your values?
10 times 10.
Yeah, right now, I really value Time spent.
Time spent.
Time spent.
That's awesome.
I really value, community.
Community, yeah.
That's friends and family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How many?
3.
Okay, I got one more.
Time spent. Community.
Yep, community. And just I would just say love.
Love, yeah.
Love is I'm not sure if it's like a value, but it should be valued.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would look at it as a value for sure.
Yeah, just like the love you put into things, the love you send and receive from people.
Yeah.
Really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just your love for your passion or your love for whatever you do, right, is another thing. Just love is just powerful, man. Love is very powerful. That's awesome. Those are three very very heavy values, man. Other guests I've had on here, everyone's been very different, and I like that. That's awesome. Last but not least, what I want to talk to you about is I see you've been watching Trickster, right? The TV show Trickster.
Trickster, yeah, I just watched them both last night.
Yeah. You just watched. You haven't seen. You didn't watch like the premiere on Wednesday, but you watched both of them. But
yeah,
I love that show, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's awesome.
It's good, man.
I hope they explore more as far as like artists and music and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Like a lot of things that they touch on with pipeline. They even showed like the man camps.
That's what I like, man.
The workers, like the man camp, like
the CFS workers. They touched on, right?
The CFS, yep.
It's and it's well made. Like it looks good.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yo, this is awesome, man. Like fuck.
Yeah, there's little things there too, like some native humor things, like the lady with the bingo and
the
little like lucky charm things, like 100%, or like the girl skateboard was like colonialism skateboards.
Yeah. I like what they're doing with it, man. It's awesome. I even inboxed the star or the main character. I was like, yo, bro, you're killing it, man. He hit me back too. He's like, oh fuck, thank you, man. I was like, yeah, man, show's really good.
What's his first name? Last name?
Joel Boulette.
Yeah.
So fuck, that's a really good show, man. I'm hyped that I'm watching it. I'm curious to see what other artists they have in there. I know I've been hearing a lot of that's Snotty Nose Rez Kids. I'm hearing, eh? Yeah. And I'm like hoping to hear a little bit more variety of other native artists too, right? Because all I'm hearing right now is Snotty Nose Rez Kids. Shout outs to them, but I want to see if they like show some love to some other native artists,
100%,
because there's so many talented native rappers, singers, whatever out there.
No cap.
And that's another thing, man, that I like to like preach to people is that like, us as native people are so capable of anything, but these people try to put these barriers on native people, like we can't do this and we can't do that, but it's like we could do anything just as good as anybody else, if not better, because native people are so resilient and so have to have that strength, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. We're coming up on an hour, bro. I appreciate you for coming down, talking to me. You're like my first like real guest. Like I've had like my wifey on here, I have my brother on here, and I have my buddy Eli on here. You're
Thanks,
like
man.
my real official guest, man.
Honored, yeah.
And I had to talk to you, man. You're a solid guy, man. Me just watching you, I met you the other day, and just very solid guy, man. I appreciate you so much, brother. You want any shout outs you want to give to anybody? Shout outs to homies, man.
All the homies.
The homies, yo. Free this guy, free this. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I'll give a shout out to young homie. I've only known him for a year, Cade Jones.
Yeah,
he just came out with some music.
Oh, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
And he's coming from a real place of love, and he's really respectful.
That's awesome.
He's showing me great respect and honor.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like this guy, like he's doing things right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the thing I love, man, is you're repping like local, man. I see Friday nights, I see Boogie, bro, hats off to you, man. I love supporting local too. Like this one guy was like talking on Friday nights, like saying some shit the other day, and I was just like, bro, I support everything local, dog. I'm not just about one brand or anything, right? Like I try to support everybody. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shout outs to everybody local. Shout outs to everybody doing anything positive.
Yeah.
Love to everybody. Love life. Love yourself. This is the 10x10 podcast. I want all you guys to keep it 10x10. This is Peatr Thomas, and we out this bitch. Appreciate you, brother, so much. Holla.
10x10, boy, do this every day cause I love this shit. Don't nobody ever get love like this. Something in your brain, we can talk about this. Support your local, tell 'em, man, I'm all about it. Wanna be a guest, you can hit my line. Put on for the city, I don't waste no time. Wanna be a guest, you can hit my line. Put on for the city, I don't waste no time. Gunning and gunning can't stop me here. Keep it 100, won't stop this year. 2020 vision to the top this year. The city get hot, I'ma drop this year. Running and gunning can't stop me here. Keep it 100, won't stop this year. 2020 vision to the top this year. The city get hot, I'ma pop this year.